The road sign was rusted so badly the letters had almost disappeared. Only one word was still readable: Hoshimura. The navigation app shouldn't have known about it, yet the blue route line had guided us here anyway. A forgotten village buried in the mountains. We came to document abandoned places old towns swallowed by time. Places where people had moved away, leaving behind empty houses and collapsing roofs. But Hoshimura wasn't abandoned. That was the problem. People still lived here. The first thing we noticed was the silence. No conversations, no laughter, not even distant voices. Just the wind pushing through wooden buildings and the faint creaking of hanging shop signs. Villagers stood outside their homes watching us. Men, women, children, all staring, none speaking. I waved politely. Hello. No response, just blank expressions. Then one of them made a sound, a quiet click in the back of his throat. Another villager responded with a different sound, a hollow clack. The sounds echoed between them like a strange language made of bone and air. We thought it was some old dialect. Until we saw the school. The building still stood, but the blackboard inside told a different story. Someone had tried writing the alphabet, a B, C, D, E, but the letters became shaky after that. Then broken. Then replaced with random scratches, like the person writing them had forgotten what they meant halfway through. The notebooks scattered across the classroom were worse. Pages filled with symbols that looked almost like words, but slowly dissolved into meaningless lines. We found a library next. Every book had been opened, every page covered in markings. The villagers had circled words, over and over, as if desperately trying to remember what they meant, but the margins were filled with the same strange symbols. Click, clack, tack, phonetic. Attempts to capture sounds that weren't language anymore. That's when we realized the horrifying truth. The villagers weren't choosing silence. They couldn't speak anymore. Language itself had begun to decay. A child approached us in the street. Her eyes were empty, curious. She pointed to the camera. Then she made a sound. A small questioning teak. We didn't understand. No one did. Not even the other villagers. Because every person in Hoshimura had started making different sounds. Their shared language had shattered. And now they were all drifting further away from meaning. That night, we reviewed our footage. The recordings were disturbing. Whenever the villagers made their strange sounds, the audio waveforms spiked violently, like multiple voices were layered together, thousands of whispers hidden inside every click. We played one clip slowly. The sound stretched, distorted, and suddenly we heard something inside it. A word, faint, buried, help. The next morning we tried to leave, but something strange had happened overnight. The road sign at the entrance of town had changed. The letters were gone, just rust now, blank metal. The name Hoshimura had disappeared, like it had never existed. And something worse happened. My partner turned to me and opened his mouth to speak, but no words came out. Only a quiet sound, click. He looked confused. Tried again, clack. My stomach dropped because when I tried to respond, my mouth made the same hollow sound, tack. The camera was still recording, and in the playback later, our voices no longer formed words. Just the same empty sounds the villagers had been making all along. Because the longer you stay in Hoshimura, the more language itself begins to fade, until one day, you forget the final word you ever knew, and the town grows silent again.